Is up, winning team today. Listen, you guys are in for a treat because your girl is on cloud a billion. Why is that, you might say? Well, a couple of days ago, I decided, you know what? I was so overwhelmed by everything. I said, screw it. I'm putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. Ain't nobody going to see me except from the kids for work. That's it. I don't care if I don't care what work has to say. I don't care because everybody's stressing me out, and at a certain point I got to find a solution, and so I did. And so I plan on leaving it like that for the rest of the weekend. It's Friday now, because ever since then I've been all spending time with the Lord. I've been all deep in the Bible, guys. The videos I've got, oh my gosh. Oh, you guys don't even know how accurate we have been about everything, because we're going to delve into like biblical history from another aspect, because guys, anyways, I don't want to get into it, but this weekend, or at least today, we're going in on the losers, because I've realized that they really are a problem. Like, they're actually a problem. Like, losers are actually a problem. And I'm going to give you guys an example. That's why I'm making this video, since it's a bit less serious. The other ones I'm going to need the Bible and stuff. But, like, this one's a little bit less serious. But it's still a perfect example of what I'm talking about. What I've been talking about losers versus winners. And what it actually means. Because a lot of people who consider themselves winners in the world, they became winners or whatever, because in their idea, because they did things to make themselves be able to have access to things they didn't have access to before. Not because they have a winning mindset or winning character. They just said, right, it's like, for example, it's like people who think they're a winner because they work out and they've got a nice body. It's like, you did that probably because you wanted validation from others. That's a losing mentality. That's a losing energy. You had to basically beg for it from others, because if you didn't have that, then you wouldn't have people's respect, which I think is pathetic. Again, losing. So you might now think of yourself as a winner, and you might pride around yourself telling people about, you know, what they should do to look like you and get in shape and how your life has changed. But it's like, have you done that for your health, for your well-being, for you to feel better about yourself, for you to live long, or for you to have access to opportunities like public validation or male or female attention and all of that? Because if that's the reason, then you're a loser. Like, this is what I'm trying to say, you guys. And this is what I'm trying to say. And case in point is going to be proven in the example I'm going to give. It actually is probably perfect for this. I'm going to end up showering again. I literally just got out of the shower. It's so warm. Okay, it's not warm. It's actually quite chilly. But it's me. I'm always just hot. You guys know that. I've told you that. I'm going to give you an example, because I saw this happen with this American streamer, right, who allegedly nearly got stabbed in London. Now, I want to shed light on this situation because I've had experiences with these kind of guys with the knives and stuff that were described. And also, I know and I've seen how, like, the difference between how just the underlying tones of people's opinions between British people and American people, and I know how British people really feel about Americans. And I'll just get to the point. There's a lot of jealousy there that's repackaged into pride and hatred, which again, it's giving losing mentality. It's giving losing. That's why I'm like, how can you critique America and say, oh, America's getting fat, everybody's fat over there? But I'm seeing American fast food chains popping up everywhere. I walk into one of my favorite corner shops. In all of them, like, the first shelf in there is selling American junk food. Huh? What's that about? I thought you were, yeah, jealous. So anyway, let me give you the backstory from my standpoint. Here I am, obviously going on by the Sidemen football charity match, yeah? And there's a whole bunch of people on there I obviously know, and there's a lot I don't know, so I love That's what I love about the Sidemen, as I said before, because they're giving winning energy. They don't mind bringing on the new people, and they don't try and shapeshift them with the rules of old and how we did it and how they just give them a platform, and they're just like, use it as you wish. And like, so a lot of these younger people, or not even younger, I mean just like less famous people, they get opportunities with the Sidemen, and then they do blow up. But the Sidemen that don't then go to try and like control them and tell them what to do, like what the older generation does with us when we have talent. So they have a lot of new people, and I always go and check out the people that they have, because I know they pick people that they actually think can make it. And anyway, so there were a few people on there that I was like, oh, I can't wait to see how they play football. Because again, historically on the Sidemen charity matches, the Americans are horror at football, which is not really their thing, I guess. I don't know, you guys tell me. And it's just all a bit of fun in it. It's just all a bit of fun. So I'm always curious to see like just how it's all going to go, who's playing, yada, yada. So one of the standout players who came from the US was Marlon, who I'd offhandedly heard about because he'd been on Sidemen Inside as well. And he'd been in a cheating scandal somewhat with this girl from the UK who had been with this other guy since they were on Love Island together 3 years ago. I never watched their season. I only know about it because other people were talking about it. I've told you I have not watched Love Island in a very long time, and I have my reasons. But anyway, and so he's playing, and I'm like, he's good. Like, he's like good, but like naturally good, as in like, there's definitely like God gave you athletic genes in there. Because obviously, and you guys know I already believe this, that God gives us all certain talents where like, if we were all to just try something out of nowhere, some of us are going to always be better just naturally than others. And then if you're smart and you have the winning mindset and winning lifestyle, you'll find what that thing is for you, and then you'll train to become the best you can possibly be at it. And that could be literally absolutely anything. Like, I remember one time I was speaking to this guy, and he was telling me how he just knows how to fix absolutely everything. Anything that needs fixing, he can fix it. And he just doesn't know where he gets it from, because he drops out of school and no one ever taught him, but he just knows. And I was just like, that's freaking cool. That's freaking cool, right? Or like, I remember once, before, my brother was showing me a painting by one of his friends. It was a drawing. She drew anime versions of like her friends. I was like, why does this look as good as the anime? And you're like 14. Like, do you know what I mean? So I'm a big believer, in the same way that I know somebody else is like mum who bakes with her intuition. So she doesn't have to like follow the recipes, right? And need to know how many cups. She's just there. And I saw this one Korean lady I used to love watching during COVID. This Korean mum, she lives in Canada, and she just bakes from the heart. And I'm just like, that's gang. So this is what I mean when I say, like, I believe that God gave us all something that we're just going to be naturally really good at. But then it is our job to like actually hone in on it. So anyways, Marlon was just one of the standouts from the guys that came from America. And I'd also known him because he was buddy with two other guys. He was buddy. Him and the two other guys are my favorite trio on Sidemen Inside. So I was like, cool. Anyways, next thing you know, yeah, he's just out and about in London. Now, let's remember this. It's very normal that people go somewhere and then they go and hang out around the place, right? You go and hang out. And so every year, like the Sidemen have been doing the charity match for 7 years. Literally every year, pretty much everybody who's in there, like who's going to be playing, they're filming all the content from them training in their home countries, because they're coming from all over the world, by the way. Like, people came from all over the world. And so, you know, they're showing like them getting ready, them training in their home country, them flying out, them trying the food in England. Like, they're showing all of it, and it's really fun to watch. This is why I say again, I prefer to watch a Sidemen football charity match than some of these bigwig freaking organizations the World Cup and the FIFA World, like, with all this pride in the room and ego. And I think that's what actually makes them so much fun to watch, because you can tell they're actually friends, and they're not all just there because so-and-so bid the highest money or whatever. Anyway, I hate pride, you guys, which is going to become very interesting with what we're about to talk about, because we're going back into the Bible history, and a particular thing, a particular person I've mentioned a lot of times, Esau, he's a lot more guilty. He's a lot more guilty than we know. Which again, he's a loser. Like, he's a loser. He lost his birthright because to a bowl of food, he sold his birthright to Jacob for a bowl of food. Jacob was like, cool. Jacob becomes the king, the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. Oh my gosh. There's been a car accident. There's all the police there. I just love this town. It's truly the gift that keeps on giving. There's always entertainment. You just have to walk around. That's why I like just walking around, listening to music. Stop, sit down, whatever. They're all backed up because of this car. Oh my gosh. Oh my days. Sorry, I'm going to try and see if I can figure out what's going on. Okay, it looks like his car just broke down, but it seems like it broke down in the middle of the road. This is one of those funny life situations where I'm wondering, there's a police car there, and it looks like the kind of thing that you don't need the police for. And I wonder if the reason why the guy has the police there is purely because maybe he had nobody else to ask. Because you guys know that I always think about the people. I always think about how a lot of things we say are not necessarily true for folks. And it's also just because I met so many people in that scenario. I meet a lot of people who are like, wow, this is the first time somebody's like listened to me for a long time. Men and women of all over the world like seem so surprised that somebody, or even that I'll do something a little bit out of my way. And I'm like, how do you mean? Like, yeah, if there's nobody else I would have to ask. And I'm like, wow, that's insane. Anyway, so yeah, it's normal that people come, they take all the content. I love it. And then that's just that. So why is it then when Marlon comes, right? When Marlon comes to London, all of a sudden, bro's minding his business in the chicken shop, right? Minding his business in the chicken shop. And then four freaking, what the word are we going to use to describe them? Well, one of them was wearing a ski mask, but freaking hood niggers walks in on Marlon. Is like, oh, are you Marlon? And then Marlon, like, because it was all being filmed. Marlon was live streaming, and the person was recording. And this is another way this is loser energy, because had they just been like, hey, because Marlon's thinking, oh, they're just going to come and like try and take a photo, and like, whatever. People are always trying to get content when they see famous people. So he's like, what's up, bro? Yada, 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 waiting for the food. When the first guy comes in, the second guy comes in, starts saying all this nonsense like, actually, let's walk up here. YOLO. We're going to walk up this way because, I'm getting sick of that. I've never walked up here before, but hey. The other guy walks in, he's like, you're not Marlon, are you? No, you're not Marlon. Like, basically trying to say that he's not him. And then, first of all, that's so cringe. Second of all, how cringy to be doing that while you're recording yourself, yeah? Oh my gosh, there's something in my hair. Oh, there's always something on me or something somewhere. Like, whatever. Hold on. Yeah, so he's like, you're not Marlon, are you? And I was just like, and do you know what's even crazy about all of this? All of us only know this because this dumb idiot like posted this stuff online. Now, next thing. This other guy who's doing that, ski masks, again, loser. You can't even show your face. Like, show your face. Like, this is what I hate, yeah? Say what you want to say about me. I say things to people's face. And when I'm saying stuff on the internet, I'm not hiding behind a blank user space and a blank name. You can see my face, you can see my everything. To say what you want to say. And that's why I always found like the people who never had the bollocks to say whatever they had to say to my face is like, I don't like, I'm so glad you did the work of removing yourself from my life, because I don't want to be around someone like who can go and do all the chitter chatter behind someone's back, but then is quaking in the face of that person. Like, keep it to yourself if you don't have the balls. If you don't have the balls to say, like, we used to say this, I remember, at school. There could be some argument break out between us girls. And it'd be like on MSN, yeah? And then we'd be like, if you're going to say something, and I remember we'd always like stand there with our little hips, like with our hands on our hips, and then the girl would walk up to you and be like, if you're going to say something, say it to my face. And it was what we all did. It was so cringe. But low-key, we need to bring that back. Like, we need to bring that back. So yeah, you're here in a ski mask, freaking wimp, loser. Yeah, I decided I'm not holding back on calling people losers. And it's ever since I found out what happened as a result of Esau's bloodline, the one who sold his entire birthright to Jacob for a bowl of food, like a little slave, like losers are. Because like this guy was giving slave energy, where it's like he couldn't help how jealous he was. Just like, you know, Saul, just like the Pharisees, just like literally every story, Cain in the Bible, he couldn't help. And that's ironic because Cain and Abel, like Jacob and Esau, I believe, were twins. But anyway, and you just couldn't help yourself. Like, this is what I've realized about these losers. They're the ones living in slavery because they can't help themselves. Like, they can't help it. Where am I going to go from here? Hold on. Low-key, I legit feel like doing a workout. I'm not dressed for the occasion. Anyway, so yeah, loser. Like, for a plate of food, are you kidding me? Where's your self-control? This is what I'm saying. It's like, where's your self-control? Where's your self-control when you're like judging somebody else for something they're capable of doing? Yeah, they put in the effort, they put in the work that you didn't put in. They have the discipline that you didn't have. Yeah, Jesus, he fasted 40 days and 40 nights. He didn't fall for all these temptations. So how are you hating from outside the club and you can't even get in? And that's why I love that it's Chris Brown who said that, because he's another one who's like a Marlon, who like other people have done far worse, yeah, than what he's accused of. And everybody turns a blind eye. But as soon as it's a tall, handsome guy who gets women, yeah, problem, because you're all freaking jealous. You're all jealous as hell. Like I said, it was the same situation with that Matt Rife dude, the comedian. Because I've been watching a lot of comedy the last couple of years, like old and new, like. And I'm like, I've heard some of the jokes these other comedians have made, and people don't have as much as a problem. But as soon as it's the good-looking one, the handsome one that's getting all the women, yeah, now everybody wants to be mad. But yeah, so anyways, this guy's all holding a knife. Marlon's all like, we don't have to do that. Like, he's trying to like de-escalate the situation. And the guys are just like waiting outside, like trying to like wait for something to start to happen or whatever. Anyway, because yeah, according to Marlon, he sees the guy like like showing him his knife, as if like this is what's going to happen, and then just kind of sitting outside the shop, which again, that's such a loser energy. Like, imagine he has a girlfriend, yeah, and he goes home to tell her that, oh, I sat outside holding my knife, waiting to stab that Marlon dude. Oh yeah, what did that Marlon do to you? Oh, nothing. Oh wait, he didn't do anything. No, so why were you doing that? Oh man, because, and there'll be something like that. Some just nonsense, and I'll be like, ew, ick. That'll be the ickiest of all icks of ever icking that could ever icked. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the police. Once upon a time, you would never hear a siren in this town. And now I've even got used to it. That's crazy. So yeah, anyways, the guys wait outside for 20 minutes. Marlon's like, he didn't even eat his food because when his food came, he couldn't even eat because now he's like, what am I supposed to do? And I was thinking, I so relate to that feeling of when you're like in an altercation where you were just trying to just chill, and now you're having to deal with something you didn't ask for because he literally was hungry in his hotel, came downstairs, he said like a 2-minute walk from his hotel just to eat some chicken and go back, like some chicken and rice and go back. He was just minding his business, not trying to cause any issues. Like, and I was like, I know that feeling, like when you're just existing and some loser has to just come in and disrupt everything and create a dramatic situation. Because then, you know what ticked me off? The public being like, you should have security. But again, should he? Maybe yes, in wisdom. But why is our first thing to go and tell him what more he needs to do and not dealing with the fact we've got freaking loser ass niggers like this ski mask dude? It's exactly what I've been saying. Like, the world literally delivers examples of what I'm talking about. What do you mean? Marlon needs to have security, and that's what you think, oh, you should have had security. To me, I hear that the same way as like, oh, you should have dressed like this instead. You should have done that instead. Not let's get rid of the problematic people. Not let's hold them accountable. And some people did. So this guy lost his job. People found out who he was, and his job found out, and he lost his job. And then his lying little ass was all talking about, oh, sorry guys, I didn't mean to do this. I apologize. I was intoxicated. Yeah, you're all acting like a big man, hard man, yard man, road man. Yeah. Standing there with your hand on your knife thinking you were everything, yeah. What happened to that? And now you're standing there like, oh, I'm sorry. I was intoxicated. And again, it reminds me of those pedophiles in those Gideon videos. Anytime you see the pedophiles, yeah, when they're talking to these kids, they're saying the most heinous stuff, yeah? When they get caught out, oh no, I made a mistake. I made a mistake and I'm sorry. But you had all that confidence before. Yeah, and the only reason you even had that confidence, in my opinion, is because he had his other guys there. I think a group of guys rushing one guy is such small dick energy. Like, if you're going to be a group of guys taking down one person, if you're a group of people taking down one person, that's loser energy. If you've got a problem with somebody, take them on one-to-one. Because, of course, if there's like 4 of you, then what the heck? And then, you know what? You're going to look even more dumb if the other people can actually finish you when there's 4 of you. Because that's the other case people don't think of. And this is how these gangs do a lot of the stuff they do. That's why I think it's kind of pathetic. They weed out like one small guy, the 4 of them, and they beat them up just so they can feel something. There was like those pastors in SPAC Nation who I believe have actually been prosecuted now. That's what I'm saying. It's the same story in everywhere, in every context. These guys from SPAC Nation and the 2 pastors who were beating these boys and all this. It's like they used to be the ones who used to get beaten when they were in their rap era. Now that they have younger guys under them, now they want to take that out. That's exactly what a lot of these losers in the world are doing. That's what I'm saying. They build up all this anger because they don't do the work. They can't take accountability. They can't face up to who they are and what they've been through and just humble themselves. They have to take it out on somebody else. They have to make somebody their victim because they refuse to face the shame that they feel inside of their inadequacy, because that's exactly what's happening. Because watching the Simon Chatty match, I was thinking, wow, Marlon, like, he's good, like, and he looks good and whatever. And so when other people are watching, they're like you just look like a dog growling in the background, where it's like, go and find what you're good at and go and do your thing, and like go and find your winning pathway in this life. Don't sit there like a loser hating on somebody else, and then meanwhile while you're hating and they're living their life, Because like I said, now he's ruined his life, this guy. Whoever knows him personally and had him on Snapchat or whatever, he's going to have lost respect to this whole community. He's lost respect from a lot of us in the world. Like, this is something that's going to go on for life. He was the idiot who put it on the internet, so he can't even act like, oh, this didn't have to come to the internet. You know how people say that. I think everything needs to come to the internet. I think if everything came to the internet, people wouldn't be so comfortable to do the things. I think everything needs to be exposed so that the losers can stop getting away with things. Like I said, he needs to get, have I actually found myself to the place I was trying to find myself to? Because if I have, I'm so impressed. Oh, the squirrel. Hi, squirrel. That is sick, bro. That is so cool. Watching them run around the trees makes me so sad that we're cutting the trees down, because look, they're so cute how it jumped onto the branch. And it was just hanging there, and it was like a dangly branch. Anyway, we need to stop tolerating the losers, that's what I'm saying. Because these are the people in society, yeah, who go around and just do this kind of stuff. And like I said, you expect the other person to be the one to have to deal with it. And why should they? Like I said, that's how I always used to feel myself. Like, why is it that I'm being told I need to do this and do that? And it's funny because this whole thing I learned, you guys, I'm about to leave this video here because I'm about where I need to go. This whole thing I found out about Jacob and Esau, if you won't believe it, because I was planning the Marlon video before I even found out about everything you're about to hear in the upcoming videos. This whole thing about Esau and his lineage, basically, it's going to be a story of how time after time, God was like, finish the job. People compromised because they were fearful of what would happen in the public. They didn't want to have to face up to the consequences of actually doing what God was doing. They compromised, yeah. They didn't want to have to face up to things. And because of that, they ended up creating their own enemy that was going to come back to them in the future. And that's the story of the whole Bible, all the way through from Esau, all the way through to Jesus Christ himself, because King Herod, who tried to kill all the baby boys in Matthew chapter 1, was also an Edomite. And the Edomites were descendants of Esau. And we're going to see through the Amalekites, which is the other tribe from God, who came from Esau, they had a vendetta that went on for over 1,000 years. And they kept coming back trying to kill the people of God. And because the people of God kept sweeping things under the carpet, kept tolerating them, God would say, Saul, kill him completely. Didn't do it. He tried to keep the king alive, so that King Agag, so that he could show off. And then the Agagites came for, who was it next? I don't know, I've got it. But every time they didn't, God was like, finish them, take them all the way out, because otherwise they're going to come back, because they're going to be jealous and they're going to have vengeance and they're going to have all of this. And they didn't listen. And he was like, we don't tolerate certain kinds of behavior, because the whole thing was that the Amalekites were even the ones who attacked the Israelites when they were in the wilderness. When they heard of the whole world was in awe of God and was scared hearing what he did, they came in and they went for the people that were the weakest, the old people, the pregnant women, and the people that were feeling exhausted. They fought from the back like losers. They didn't take on the soldiers. They didn't take on the people that were feeling strong. They went for the weakest. And as a way to spit in the face to God. And I feel like it's all going back to the jealousy of the whole bloodline of Esau, because his brother took the W, but that's your new mate, because it was actually your birthright and you sold it for a plate of food like a loser. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so ready. I feel like I need to go for a workout at this point in time, because I just have so much energy. And I'm just like, I was right all along. Like, I was right about all this stuff I've been saying. But anyway, that's case number one. We're going to go through that whole story, because there's so many ebbs and flows of just what that means, like the whole story with Esau and Jacob, and just everything that happened between them all the way up to Jesus. And the fact that it wasn't even just one of Esau's sons, like it literally was a generational level spirit that went through both his sons. of trying to just go and kill always the winners of the winning team. Hello. So if that isn't a bit of encouragement to you guys out there for the life you've lived and the things you've been through, I hope that it is. It certainly was for me. And like I said, this is just a case in point example in England. Like, look at you American coming here, right, looking handsome, walking around, just chilling, hanging out, right? And then you got the losers in the sidelines watching there, plotting and planning with their little loserness. Rather than, instead of plotting and planning, you could be the one in the gym. You could be the one for focusing on yourself. Because I truly believe that a lot of people who are jealous in any type of way of others for whatever reason, if you put in that, I am almost 100% sure your actual energy, that energy alone is what's repelling people more than anything. More than skill set, more than skill level. Because like I said, Marlon's energy, he was so cool to watch. I'd watched his stream like that day somehow. Him and his friend doing a 10,000 calorie challenge, and they're just randomly doing random stuff at their house, just chilling, doing nothing, just doing a challenge and just answering questions. He's just there playing football. He's just gone to the chicken shop, just minding his business, drama free. And then you wonder why you're in the situation you're in when you're walking around like a roadman trying to look all scary with a freaking ski mask. Can't even see your face, mate. Trying to intimidate everybody. Like, no wonder. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't think people think. Like, a lot of people are not nice to be around. That's why I like to spend time by myself. Because I've worked hard to clear my own energy, and I work hard to work on my own demons. I don't need you coming in and feeding off of it or creating drama in my atmosphere because you're not willing to do the work. Nah, mate, miss me with that. Anyways, guys, if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.